All right, let's get this one out of the way. So, some of you might remember in an episode recently, I don't remember which one, I had mentioned the fact that it kind of felt like the Colts were on borrowed time as far as having a quarterback having lost them the game. I mean, for a guy in Anthony Richardson coming in this year, had 13 college starts, 21 years of age, considered to be as raw as it gets as a quarterback prospect. And then on top of that, you have Minshew behind him, who is the best backup in football, but a backup quarterback nonetheless, so it seems, as illustrated by today. It was kind of a surprise to some degree that we hadn't had a day where the quarterback just ruined the day for us and really put us in a bad spot. And maybe it was last week, but I said it felt like the clock was ticking there, but you just never think it's going to look like that. And the timing of this game today, plus the news of Richardson potentially getting season-ending shoulder surgery. Say that 5 times fast. Season-ending shoulder surgery. Season-ending shoulder surgery. Twice. The the timing. Trying to find some humor in it, Colts Nation, and the timing of this with a game like that today is tough emotionally as a fan, and it doesn't make it any better that Jaguars fans are so obnoxious. They're such loudmouths. I mean, you ever hear the saying, act like you've been there before, right? I mean, that's the sign of someone who is like mature and all of those things. Now, I don't blame Jacksonville because they haven't been there before. So how could you possibly act like you've been there before when you haven't? This I understand, but, have a little bit of class in a victory, right? That's neither here nor there. The timing for us Colts fans is tough, knowing that Minshew is who we're going to be seeing at quarterback for the foreseeable future. Now, that was about as bad of a day as he's going to put out, in my opinion, but it was there nonetheless. And it's hard on a day where the defense drops 31 points, or rather allows 37 points. Hard to really praise the defense on a day like that. But, I mean, for me watching the game, and I imagine you guys watching the game as well, I thought the defense put out a good effort overall. I mean, Jacksonville's offense is obviously filled with skill position guys. No, that's not an excuse, but you couple that with the fact that the Colts offense was giving them absolutely nothing throughout the entire first half of that game. Very, very, very hard to play defense in that situation, let alone the fact that technically the defense played good enough in the back end of the second half to give the Colts offense a chance to make it even maybe potentially as interesting for maybe 2 minutes of that game where you just had that, oh my goodness, the Colts might be able to actually make this a game. 2 minutes of that at most, and then Jamal Agnew comes back and brings that kickoff, right? I thought the defense overall gave a good effort. I don't want to give them too much of a hard time. For me, this one right here is on the offense. I mean, Gardner Minshew, no question about it, was absolutely terrible. And I'm going to be nice to him just because I think it's the right thing to do. I take no pride in kicking someone while he's down. But if nothing else, the arm talent, the big takeaway for me was the arm talent between him and Richardson. I mean, it's night and day. Garner doesn't have much throw power to begin with, let alone some of the passes today were just terrible. But when he gets going on his back foot, I mean, he just doesn't have a tenth of the God-given talent that Anthony Richardson has as a passer of the football. Again, don't say that to be mean to Richardson, rather to Minshew, but just something to note. But it's not just his fault. If you ask me in a game like this, I thought Shane Steichen backed this team into a corner early, and ultimately between him and Minshew, that is what decided the game. And I'll explain what I mean by Shane Steichen momentarily. Usually I do the whole big intro. Listen, if you're enjoying the video, go ahead, shoot it a like. My name's Justin. This is the Riding the Bench Colts cast. Talking about the Colts all the time. Subscribe if you want to follow along for the journey. But most importantly, just enjoy the show. That's it. That's the intro. Housekeeping over. I'm not in the mood, right? So what I mean when I say that Steichen backed us into a corner, listen, the Colts abandoned the run way too early in this game for my liking. How excited were we about the prospect of Zach Moss, who had been really amazing for us this year, and Jonathan Taylor finally coming back? I mean, you would have thought that on a day like today, especially after last week, that they would have run the football early and often. Now, why did Steichen fall into that trap? I don't know. I mean, listen, Minshew before today, there was a legitimate argument. By the way, all of you who are like, oh man, all you people who think Minshew gave the Colts a better chance to win, like you're some sort of genius. Okay, there was plenty of evidence coming into this game. Now, obviously, we look at it and things have changed. There was a lot of evidence coming into this game where you could have at least made a respectable argument for Gardner Minshew. So let's not try to just dismiss everybody's opinions like it was clear before today, okay? But I guess Steichen was looking at the fact that Minshew had been so efficient, had been so good with the football and not turning it over, that early in this game, Minshew was right on schedule as it was going quick, out of the hands, completing almost every pass he threw. It probably almost felt like an extension of the running game for Steichen with how efficient it was. But you do wish he got those guys going, because as a Colts fan, you just don't want to see it, particularly when we have two running backs playing as well as we are. And as the Colts, the team, you also don't want to see it. You just can't have it. I mean, again, this is why. You gave the Titans the business last week, right? That Titans team had been averaging, or teams had averaged less than 3 yards per carry against that Titans team, dating all the way back to like 20 games ago. That Titans defense had the best running game in the league coming into this year. You ran for over 200 yards on that defense last week, right? On top of that, we know Minshew does not have the type of arm pushing the ball down the field when he's not getting the help from the running game, right? At the end of the day, you need to get the running game going, so play action is an option. I mean, make Jacksonville guess. They were just able to sit there and zone all day, and it just was what it was. Make them guess, get the play action game going, so you can create a little bit of fucking space for Minshew to get the ball out there, because we know that he doesn't have the arm strength of Anthony Richardson to get it into those tight windows with consistency. He needs some space created. Part of that's going to come from committing to that running game, establishing it, and hitting the play action. And Minshew has been good when he's been on time and on schedule, but by being one-dimensional and not developing the running game early and often in this game, you force Minshew to start making some off-schedule plays, because the defense ultimately knows what you have to do. So I thought Shane Steichen, not that I'm going to sit here, listen, not the end of the world. I know this is a week-to-week league, but I want to kind of keep everything in perspective. This week, Steichen wasn't good enough. Clearly, Gardner Minshew wasn't good enough either. Okay, this was an all-out failure for the Indianapolis Colts. No question about it. This was a bad day. I'm going to try to pull some positives from it. And that's the segment, I guess, we're working into right now before we wrap this thing up and go home, go to sleep, watch the rest of the games, smoke a number, and get on with our merry Sunday, right? But Juju Brents, I'll start with. I thought early in the game, there was really two plays, same drive. I thought he had a tough time. One, they kind of ran this out concept on 3rd and 6 with Ridley. I thought Juju Brents gave him too much space in there, and then he got caught on that Richardson. Oh, not Richardson. I keep saying Richardson. Got caught on that Christian Kirk play up the sideline, just got beat on that a little bit. Those two plays for Juju Brents were not great, but he showed a lot of positives in this game as a tackler. I thought man on Calvin Ridley was absolutely spectacular. Obviously, he had the interception. Juju Brents is just a guy. Listen, there's going to be good moments and there's going to be bad moments for Juju Brents, but just like Anthony Richardson, for me, the good moments for Juju Brents get me really, really excited as far as what I think he can be moving forward for this team. Juju Brents, I don't know if you guys are feeling the same way I'm feeling about Juju Brents. That feels like a guy that we're going to be really, really, really happy we have. Very, very happy with what I'm seeing out of Juju Brents. Alec Pierce, hearing all the Jerry Jeudy trade rumors, I thought he came out and really gave us good effort. At the end of the day, it's clear I don't think Alec Pierce is that much of a separator. That's kind of his problem. But man, that one-handed catch, are you kidding me, out of Alec Pierce? And no bobble. I mean, that thing, I know the gloves are sticky, but my word, that was an excellent catch. He was looking like a freak there. And I just thought he gave us good effort. I thought Pierce had some really good plays for us today. No, it wasn't like he didn't break off for 150 yards or anything like that. But I thought Pierce gave us good work. We're going to see what's going on with that shoulder. Just a day filled with injuries, right? Or really a day defined by shoulder injuries between Richardson and now Pierce. And Josh Downs, another positive for me. You got to be really happy with how he's starting to settle into this offense. I mean, even without Minshew, we always knew about the Minshew connection early in training camp, in the preseason, all of that. But we started to see it come to fruition with Anthony Richardson. And now in a game like this again with Minshew, I mean, that was really, really good stuff out of Josh Downs. So there were some positives here. Listen, this is a team that is in a little bit of a rebuild. We know this. We were overachieving coming into this game. I still think the team is a good team. I don't come out of this and think we fucking suck. I know some of you are going to be that way because you overreact. And you know what happens is when you get that way, you end up looking stupid week by week by week by week, right? At the end of the day, there's going to be a season-long sample size at the end of the year, and we could come to our conclusion in the offseason ultimately. But as for right now, we just have to judge it as what's in front of us. Very, very bad day for the Indianapolis Colts, a team still that I think will come back next week and be a little bit better, assuming we don't have a bye week next week, right? When is the Colts bye week? Does anyone know off the top of their head? I don't pay attention to that type of thing. Nope, we come versus the Browns next week. That's a good defense. So Browns next week, very, very good defense. You're going to better believe your ass that the Colts are going to come into that game running the football. And I think if we run the football and we do that well and we don't get away from it, I still think we're a good team that could give anyone a tough day. But today was not one of those days. The terror, really, in Jacksonville continues, and we don't have a chance this year to get him back unless we meet him in the wild card playoffs or something like that. But yeah, that's my reaction to the game. Figured I'd get this thing out on a Sunday for you as opposed to wait until the morning to voice my dismay. And yeah, hopefully that was enjoyable as it could be. But until next time, my name is Justin. This right here was the Riding the Bench Colts cast. Go Colts.